The moment Jalen Carter pulled his old pickup truck to the side of the road, he thought he was helping a stranger. He had no idea that one simple act of kindness would uncover a family secret buried for more than a decade, a secret connected to the woman he had loved, lost, and mourned every single day since her death. Before we begin, if you believe that kindness can change lives and that everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories like this one to life. The bright afternoon sun hung high over the city as 38-year-old Jalen Carter drove home from work. The hardworking single father had spent the morning repairing air conditioning units across town. His hands were rough from years of labor, his clothes carried the dust of construction sites, and his truck had nearly 200,000 miles on it. Life had never been easy, but Jalen kept moving forward for one reason alone: his 11-year-old daughter, Nia. 12 years earlier, Jalen's world had shattered when his wife, Alora, died in a tragic highway accident shortly after giving birth to Nia. The loss had left wounds that never fully healed. What made the pain even worse was that Alora's wealthy family had blamed Jalen for everything. They believed she had wasted her life marrying a man with no money. After the funeral, they cut all ties with him and disappeared. Since then, Jalen had raised Nia alone. Every morning started before sunrise. Every bill felt like a mountain. Every holiday carried memories of someone missing from the table. Yet despite the hardships, Jalen had become the kind of father many children only dream about. He attended school events, cooked meals, helped with homework, and never let Nia feel unloved. That afternoon, traffic moved slowly through downtown streets shimmering beneath the summer heat. As Jalen approached an upscale business district, he noticed something unusual. A woman sat alone on a bench outside a luxury hotel. She wore an expensive designer suit, but her appearance was disheveled. Her makeup was smudged. One high heel sat beside her while the other remained on her foot. Even from a distance, Jalen could tell she was heavily intoxicated. Most people passed without stopping. Some stared. Others laughed. But Jalen couldn't ignore her. His late wife had always taught him that kindness costs nothing. He parked nearby and walked over. The woman appeared to be in her mid-30s. Her eyes were glassy and unfocused. A luxury handbag rested beside her. Anyone else might have assumed she was irresponsible or reckless. Instead, Jalen saw something different. He saw loneliness. He saw pain. And he recognized it because he carried the same pain himself. The woman struggled to remain conscious. After making sure she wasn't injured, Jalen found an identification card inside her purse. Her name was Vivian Monroe. The card identified her as the CEO of one of the city's fastest-growing technology companies. Jalen was shocked. This wasn't some random partygoer. This was a successful executive who looked like she had reached her breaking point. Unable to leave her vulnerable on the street, he contacted emergency services. After a brief assessment, paramedics determined she wasn't in medical danger. Since she repeatedly gave her home address and insisted she simply needed rest, they advised finding a safe way to get her home. With no family contact answering the phone and no one arriving to help, Jalen finally decided to drive her home himself. The address led to a massive estate located in one of the city's wealthiest neighborhoods. As his aging pickup truck rolled through enormous gates, Jalen felt completely out of place. The mansion looked like something from a movie. Perfect gardens stretched across acres of land. Luxury vehicles lined the circular driveway. Tall windows reflected the afternoon sunlight. Before he could even help Vivian to the front door, several household employees rushed outside. They immediately recognized their employer. Relief washed over their faces. But then something unexpected happened. An elderly woman stepped onto the front porch. The instant she saw Jalen, her entire body froze. The color drained from her face. The older woman stared as though she had seen a ghost. Jalen felt equally confused. Something about her looked strangely familiar. Years seemed to disappear in an instant. Then the truth hit him. The woman standing before him was Odessa Whitmore. Alora's mother. His late wife's mother. The woman who had vanished from his life 12 years ago. Silence consumed the driveway. Neither of them could believe what they were seeing. Time had changed them both. Wrinkles marked Odessa's face. Gray streaks filled her hair. Jalen carried the exhaustion of years spent surviving alone. Yet recognition arrived instantly. The old woman's eyes began filling with tears. For several seconds, neither spoke. Finally, Odessa looked toward Vivian. Then back at Jalen. And something deep inside her seemed to break. Jalen learned the shocking truth later that afternoon. Vivian Monroe was not just a CEO. She was Alora's younger sister. The same younger sister who had been sent overseas shortly before Alora's death. She had spent years building a successful company but privately battled severe depression and alcoholism. Their family had never recovered from losing Alora. The grief destroyed relationships. It destroyed trust. And ultimately, it destroyed the family itself. After Alora died, Odessa's husband became obsessed with assigning blame. He blamed Jalen. He blamed everyone around him. Eventually the bitterness consumed him. Years later, he passed away carrying that anger. Odessa admitted she had regretted losing contact with Jalen for years but never found the courage to reconnect. Seeing him standing there after all this time felt like fate. As the afternoon stretched into evening, Odessa invited Jalen inside. He hesitated. Part of him wanted to leave. The wounds from the past remained painful. But another part of him needed answers. For hours they talked. They discussed Alora. They shared memories. They cried. They laughed. And for the first time in more than a decade, Jalen felt like someone truly understood his grief. Then Odessa asked a question that changed everything. She asked about Nia. The granddaughter she had never met. The room became quiet. Jalen pulled out his phone and showed recent photographs. Odessa's hands trembled. Nia looked almost identical to Alora. The same smile. The same eyes. The same warmth. The elderly woman broke down completely. 12 years of missed birthdays. 12 years of missed holidays. 12 years of missed hugs. All of it crashed down at once. Over the following weeks, something remarkable began happening. Walls that had stood for years slowly started falling. Odessa visited Jalen's modest home. Nia met her grandmother. At first, everyone felt nervous. The past still lingered between them. But children possess a unique gift. They often heal wounds adults cannot. Nia welcomed Odessa with open arms. The elderly woman quickly became part of her life. She attended school events. She helped with projects. She listened to stories. She shared family memories Nia had never heard before. Meanwhile, Vivian began confronting her own struggles. The embarrassment of being found intoxicated by a stranger became a wake-up call. She entered treatment. She sought therapy. And she worked tirelessly to rebuild herself. Throughout that process, Jalen remained supportive. Not because he had to. But because he understood what it felt like to fight through darkness. Months passed. The relationship between the families grew stronger. For the first time since Alora's death, Jalen no longer felt alone. One sunny afternoon, nearly a year after their unexpected reunion, Odessa invited everyone to the estate. When they arrived, she revealed a surprise. A beautiful memorial garden had been built in Alora's honor. Flowers surrounded a stone pathway. Butterflies floated through the air. A small plaque displayed words about love, family, and forgiveness. But the greatest surprise came next. Odessa announced that she had updated her estate plans. Rather than allowing old divisions to continue, she intended to ensure Nia remained connected to her family's legacy. It wasn't about money. It was about belonging. For years, Nia had unknowingly been separated from half of her family. Now she finally had a place within it. Jalen stood quietly beneath the warm afternoon sunlight. As he watched his daughter laugh with her grandmother and aunt, tears filled his eyes. For so long, he had believed some losses could never be repaired. For so long, he thought certain doors were closed forever. Yet life had proven otherwise. One random act of kindness on an ordinary day had reunited an entire family. A decision to help a stranger had healed wounds spanning more than a decade. And in the process, Jalen discovered that love never truly disappears. Sometimes it simply waits for the right moment to bring people back together. Before we finish this story, we have one special request. Please comment below, kindness changes destinies, if you believe one small act of compassion can transform someone's life forever. As the sun began setting beyond the memorial garden, golden light painted the sky above them. Nia ran through the flowers laughing. Odessa smiled through tears. Vivian stood stronger than she had been in years. And Jalen looked upward, imagining Alora watching from somewhere beyond the clouds. For the first time in 12 years, his heart felt whole. And if this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Single Dad Empire. Your engagement helps spread inspiring stories of hope, forgiveness, family, and second chances to people who may need them most. Because sometimes the greatest miracles begin with nothing more than a stranger choosing to be kind.